let's go deep today. We're diving into Parasite, but not just the movie itself. It's more like, what did people think? You know?
Yeah, audience reactions.
Yeah, Parasite, the Bong Joon-ho masterpiece, obviously.
Of course.
Oscars and all that, but it seems like people had a lot to say.
Yeah, what we're looking at today is beyond, like, the critics. You know, what did everyday people think about it?
Exactly. That's what makes this deep dive so fun, you know? Is it like a cultural phenomenon, or did it totally miss the mark? Who knows?
Right.
And I always say this, but I love a good range of opinions, and we've got it all. I mean, everything from masterpiece, 10 out of 10, to like, I saw a 3 out of 10.
Wow, that's a huge range.
So we'll see, like, what made it click, what made it not.
Yeah, exactly. Why did it work for some and not for others?
Okay, so, I mean, starting out, most of the reviews, like, super positive. I mean, masterpiece constantly.
Right.
You know, and words like thought-provoking.
Oh, yeah, saw that a lot.
Funny, suspenseful.
Brilliant.
Brilliant, yeah, all those words.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's not just like surface level stuff. People get into specifics, you know,
Right.
like the way Bong Joon-ho, he blends these genres.
Right.
It's amazing. It's people were really like thrown off guard in a good way by how it shifts.
Oh, yeah.
Like almost like an Ocean's 11 kind of vibe at the beginning.
Oh, totally. I see that.
And then, bam, it gets really dark.
Right.
Suspense, the social commentary, all of it.
Yeah, one review said it was like watching multiple movies in one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it so rewatchable, too.
Oh, yeah, the rewatchability.
You know, each time you watch it, you're like peeling back another layer, finding something new.
Peeling back the layers of Parasite. I like it. What else do people say about that? Like the rewatchability?
A lot of people were talking about how subtle it is. Like, it rewards you for paying attention.
Right.
You know, there's this one comment that I thought was spot on that said, the film respects its audience.
Interesting.
It doesn't spell everything out for you.
Right, right.
It trusts that you'll notice the little details, you know, the symbolism, the foreshadowing, all that.
Oh, totally. I felt like constantly catching clues and then going back and being like, did I miss anything?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes you want to rewatch it. It's not passive. You're actively involved.
Okay, let's talk themes, because one that kept popping up was social commentary.
Oh, for sure.
Especially the whole class struggle element.
Right. It's not just entertainment.
No.
It's a critique disguised as a thriller.
Oh, yeah.
And the way it does it is both clever and kind of unsettling.
Totally.
Like, remember that overflowing toilet scene?
Yeah.
So many people were pointing out that symbolizes, like, the difference between the rich and the poor.
Wow. Yeah.
Literally showing the consequences of living in a basement.
Right. That's like a super powerful image.
Oh, yeah. And it's just one example, right? He weaves it into everything. Set design, dialogue, everything.
Right. And some people even saw it as a metaphor for meritocracy and how it kind of fails sometimes.
Yeah. Like, no matter how hard you work, sometimes the system's just rigged against you.
Exactly.
And one person brought up how, you know, South Korea is so competitive, so much pressure to succeed.
Right, like working 60, 70 hours a week just to get by.
It's crazy.
So it's like the movie is holding up a mirror, like making us confront these things about wealth and poverty.
You got it. And what's interesting is a lot of reviewers felt it was universal, even though it's rooted in Korean culture.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, one person compared it to Jordan Peele's Us.
Oh, interesting.
Like, both movies, social issues, super entertaining.
Right, but they're not hitting you over the head with it.
Exactly. It's subtle, but impactful.
Okay, now, it wouldn't be a deep dive if we only focused on the good, right?
Right.
Some people didn't like Parasite, so let's hear them, the dissenting voices. What didn't work?
Well, pacing was a big one. Some people found it slow, especially at the beginning.
Okay.
Some didn't like the characters, thought they were unlikable.
Interesting.
And then there were some who felt like Bong Joon-ho's intentions weren't clear.
Oh, okay, so like what, his message was muddled?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so pacing. Did anyone say why they found it slow?
Yeah, one person said the setup took too long and it didn't really grab them until the second act.
Okay, so they were expecting like a faster-paced thriller.
Yeah, from the get-go.
But I kind of feel like that slow burn is on purpose, right? To build the atmosphere.
I think so, yeah. It draws you into their world before everything goes crazy.
Right, like a false sense of security.
Exactly. And as for the unlikable characters, I almost think that's deliberate, too.
Interesting.
He doesn't shy away from showing their flaws.
Yeah, and that makes them feel more real.
Exactly. They're not just good or bad, they're complex.
Right, with their own desires, their own motivations.
Absolutely. Now, the whole intentions unclear thing, that one's really fascinating.
Okay, yeah, unpack that.
Someone even said it was nonsense, which, I mean, harsh, but
Wow, nonsense. Okay.
I get it. Like, So people were confused.
Yeah, like what did they find nonsensical specifically?
The family becoming expert con artists so fast.
Interesting point.
I was like, how did this happen overnight?
Yeah, it does require a bit of suspension of disbelief, I guess.
Right, but I think that's part of what makes it brilliant. It's not a straightforward thriller.
Right.
It's satire, it's dark comedy, it plays with our expectations.
Oh, that reminds me. We haven't even talked about the title Parasite, which is, I mean, talk about sparking debate.
Oh yeah, so many interpretations, each one more thought-provoking than the last.
I bet. So what are people saying?
Buckle up, we're going deep on this one, like peeling back another layer of that onion.
So Parasite, definitely not your average thriller. It's got layers, social commentary, and people have some strong opinions about it. But I'm really curious about the title Parasite. Did everyone agree on who the parasite actually is?
Oh, not at all. That's what makes it so interesting. It's ambiguous, you know? Like a Rorschach test, it tells you as much about the viewer as the film.
Oh, I like that, a Rorschach test. Okay, so what were some of the interpretations people had?
Well, some took it pretty literally. The Kim family, the poor family, they're the parasites.
Right, latching onto the wealthy Park family.
Exactly. They infiltrate their home, exploit their wealth, their naivete.
Yeah, they're the ones who physically, like, insert themselves into the Park's lives, right?
Exactly. But then other people, they went deeper, and they saw the Park family as the parasites.
Wait, the Park family as parasites? How so?
Think about it. They're wealthy, perfect life on the surface, but they can't do anything for themselves.
Right, right.
They need someone to cook, clean, drive, everything.
So they're parasites because they're, like, living off the labor of others?
Precisely. And some people took it even further, saying it's not just about the characters, it's about the system itself.
Whoa, okay, the system itself, meaning?
Capitalism, the whole structure that creates this gap between rich and poor.
So in that case, the system is the parasite.
Exactly. It's saying, like, in a system built on exploitation, we're all kind of complicit, whether we benefit or not.
Man, that's deep. So you've got people point fingers at the Kims, the Parks, even the system. Were there any other, like, wild interpretation of the title?
Oh yeah, one reviewer asked, who's the parasite and who's the cow?
Whoa.
Like making us rethink the power dynamics.
Yeah, who's really using who?
Right. It's awesome how Parasite makes you question everything. There are no easy answers, no good guys or bad guys.
Yeah, that moral ambiguity keeps you hooked.
It does. It's a nuanced exploration of human nature, power, inequality.
So much packed into one word, parasite. It's like Bong Joon-ho wanted us to really wrestle with these ideas.
Absolutely. And speaking of complex, some people, especially those familiar with Korean culture, saw even more layers.
Oh, interesting. What kind of layers?
Like there's some subtle Native American imagery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the sun playing with the tomahawk. Some people saw that as a metaphor.
For what?
Like Korean culture being eroded by modernization, Western influence, that kind of thing.
Wow, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, it adds a whole other dimension. Parasite is critiquing so many things, not just class, but like broader societal shifts too.
Okay, so we've got the social commentary, the cultural stuff, the title debate, but let's not forget this is a thriller. And thrillers, they mess with your emotions. So what were people saying about how the film made them feel?
Oh man, it's a roller coaster. People felt everything. Laughter, chills, tears.
Really? Wow, the whole spectrum. Did anyone mention specific scenes that got to them?
Oh, for sure. That basement reveal where the former housekeeper's husband is hiding.
Yeah, that was creepy.
So many people said it was horrifying, but also, like, you felt pity, disgust.
Yeah, it shows how desperate people can get.
Exactly. But then there are also moments of humor, connection, you know.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's not all doom and gloom.
One person said they were laughing 1 minute, then gasping in shock the next.
So unpredictable, but always intense.
Exactly. We've talked about the love, the themes, the emotional impacts. But what about the people who didn't like it? How did they feel?
Yeah, what about those dissenting voices?
Well, lots of frustration, confusion, some even anger. Some felt cheated by the ending. Others just found it too disturbing.
It's definitely not a film for everyone.
No, it's intense. But even those negative reactions are important, right?
Totally, it shows the film had an impact, even if it wasn't positive for everyone.
Exactly. Art is subjective. What one person loves, another might hate.
And that's okay. It's all part of the conversation.
Right. So we've explored the good, the bad, the interpretations, the emotions. But there's one last thing, something that really divided people.
You're talking about the ending, right?
You know it, the grand finale. Some loved it, others were totally lost. We got to talk about that ending.
Let's do it. Buckle up, deep divers, because things are about to get wild. Okay, we're back, and we're ready to tackle the ending of Parasite. We've talked about, the good stuff, the themes, the reactions, but now it's like time for the grand finale, the ending that some people loved and some, well, they didn't get it.
Right, the ending of Parasite, it's a total mind bender. It flips everything you thought you knew about the characters, their motives, everything.
And even just reading these user reviews, like you can feel the intensity. People are using words like shocking, devastating, even traumatic. It's like Bong Joon-ho really went there.
He did, and that's part of what makes it so powerful. It's not neat and tidy.
Right.
It's messy, it's ambiguous, and it, like, forces you to confront the reality of what the film's been building towards.
Yeah. Okay, so for anyone who hasn't seen Parasite yet, like what happens at the end? Spoiler free, of course.
Let's just say the Kim family's carefully constructed plan, it kind of implodes, and it's violent, and both families are changed forever.
Yeah, no one gets out unscathed. So let's hear what people had to say about it. What were the common reactions?
Well, the biggest thing is, like, how divided people were.
Right.
Some people, they thought the ending was perfect, like a powerful, fitting end to this story about class and injustice.
So, like, it was tragic, but it made sense in the context of the film.
Exactly. But then you've got the other side, people who felt like totally blindsided.
Yeah, I can see that.
They were like expecting a resolution, some kind of justice, closure. But Parasite doesn't give you that.
One review even called it a cheap shot, like Bong Joon-ho was just trying to be shocking.
Yeah, and I get that. It's brutal. It's unsettling. No easy answers. But that's what makes it so good. It makes you sit with that discomfort, grapple with what you just saw.
It's like he's saying, look, this is the world. Deal with it.
Exactly. And I think that's what resonated with people who liked the ending. It's bold. It's uncompromising. It's not sugarcoating anything about class and injustice.
So you've got the lovers, the haters, but what about the people in between? What were their reactions?
A lot of them, whether they liked it or not, were stuck on the ambiguity.
Right, it leaves you with a lot of questions.
Yeah, like what happens to certain characters? What does it all mean?
I remember feeling that way too. It's like Bong Joon-ho is making us fill in the blanks.
Exactly, and that's where the real magic of Parasite is. It's not just about what you see, but what you think about afterward.
Right, the conversation it starts.
Right, one person even said the ending was like a Rorschach test. It tells you about yourself as much as the film.
Wow, that's a good way to put it.
And it goes back to the title, Parasite, right?
Yeah.
All those interpretations, it's like the film is a mirror.
Whoa.
It reflects biases, your assumptions, everything.
Okay, so last question. What did you think of the ending?
Man, it was a lot. I felt shocked, confused, sad, even hopeful at times.
Yeah, yeah.
But ultimately, I thought it was both heartbreaking and brilliant. Like, it just stays with you. And for me, that's what makes a film great.
Totally agree. It's the kind of ending that just demands to be talked about, analyzed. And I think that's what we've been doing here. Like, we've really explored the different reactions and hopefully made people think.
And hopefully, we've inspired people to watch Parasite and decide for themselves. Because that's what art should do, Make you think, question things.
Perfectly said. And Deep Dive crew, remember there's always more to explore. So until next time, keep those minds curious.